Hello folks, it's Jay Ramey here with you one more time for another episode of Know Your Rights. I am J.K. Ramey, attorney at law. I'm coming to you from my bunker where I protect the Constitution and the Bill of Rights every day. That's what I do every single day. And this is episode 12 of Know Your Rights. And today we're going to do something a little bit different than we've done in previous episodes. I saw this video online, I think Cop Block, they were making fun of the video. It's a video made by some police department, Lake Charles, apparently that's in Louisiana. And it's a video where they show you how the citizen should obey and cooperate during traffic stops. I always like these videos that the police make. Sometimes they'll make a video, or I've also seen like a news crew go out to talk to a police officer. Well, how should citizens obey during a traffic stop? Well, of course, their version of obey and cooperate is a little bit different than my version. So what we're going to do, we're going to watch the video, and I'll cut in here and there and give my take on what's being said. So, without further ado, let's get right to the video.
There are over 800,000 police officers in the United States, and between us, we count for about 1 million contacts with the public every single day. Most of those contacts come by way of the police traffic stop. As a matter of fact, most citizens' only contact with the police will be due to some type of traffic violation. Hello, my name is Corporal Larry Moss with the Lake Charles Police Department. Today, we're going to talk about the best way for you to conduct yourself should you be stopped for some type of traffic infraction. When an officer observes the violation, they will generally follow the vehicle until the officer sees a safe place ahead to effect the traffic stop. The officer will then activate their emergency lights in an attempt to notify the violator of the stop. The correct course of action would be for you to select a safe place to stop your vehicle, come to a complete stop, and then place the vehicle in park. When the driver selects the place to pull over, it is a bad idea to stop and start repeatedly while the officer is positioning their vehicle. The position of the officer's vehicle is both for the safety of the officer as well as for the driver. You may notice the officer turn their wheels a certain direction once in position. This is to ensure that the officer's vehicle, if struck from behind, will not directly impact the driver's vehicle. To understand why police officers do certain things during the course of this traffic stop, you have to realize that the traffic stop is the single most dangerous thing an officer does, and they do this on a regular basis. When initiating a traffic stop, the officer does not know whether the person or persons in the vehicle are law-abiding citizens who have simply violated a traffic law, or whether they are violent criminals who may be fleeing their latest crime spree.
Okay, now folks, I love when we see these how to handle a traffic stop videos from the police perspective. They always talk about how dangerous it is, and well, we don't know if we're pulling over a law-abiding citizen or a violent criminal. Okay, first of all, as the citizen driving the car, we don't know if that cop is a law-abiding citizen or a violent criminal, because actually cops are violent criminals, except they don't get punished for it. We see traffic stops every day where the person gets shot in the head and killed, tasered, pepper sprayed, beaten, taken out of the car and beaten down to the ground for nothing. An unarmed person, especially if they're black. Oh God, especially if they're black. Or even if you don't get hurt, you get taken out of your car, you get handcuffed, kidnapped off the street and taken down to the jailhouse where you're locked in a cage because you had, oh my God, you had a harmless medicinal plant in your car. So I get sick of these cops talking about how dangerous it is and how they don't know. Well, you know, what about us citizens? What about us, huh? We don't want to get killed either. And I guarantee you, if you look at the statistics, a citizen is much more likely to be hurt or taken down and locked in a cage than that police officer is to be even get a scratch on him from a typical traffic stop. So don't tell me this crap about, oh, well, we don't know. I mean, if you're so scared of these traffic stops, then get another job. Go into another line of business because you're so scared that the person you might be meeting is a violent criminal. What about all of us? Every day when we go out on the street, we're out somewhere in the middle of the night, someone approaches us. Well, hell, we don't know if that's a violent criminal or a law-abiding citizen. And most of us don't have a gun and a radio like the police officers do. I mean, some of us carry guns. I carry a gun, and most of the time quite legally. But again, us citizens, we don't know if someone approaches us or comes knocking on our door, and we open the door. We don't know if they're a violent criminal or a law-abiding citizen. So don't give us this crap about. And you notice they use a female police officer in this video. I think that's to get more sympathy for them, because we might get hurt. Oh no. Well, just like this cop said during the opening, there are millions of these traffic stops every year in this country, and only in a minute amount of them does a police officer get hurt or injured in any way. It's more likely that that officer is going to hurt the person driving the car, or, as we've had here in Oklahoma, a number of cases recently, taken out and raped by the cop with the gun and the badge and the power. So don't try to get me, especially me, and I hope all of you watching this video, don't try to get our sympathies, because it's so dangerous and we don't know it's a violent criminal. Well, if you're so scared and worried about it, go get another job. That's all I can tell you.
The actions of the driver will dictate the response of the officer once the traffic stop has begun.
Driver, let me see your hands.
Drivers should refrain from making any furtive gestures, such as reaching into the glove box or under the seats, until the officer has approached the vehicle and asked for such items as the vehicle registration, insurance, and the driver's license. These unexpected movements, viewed from the officer's perspective, may appear to be an attempt to retrieve a weapon or to hide some type of evidence. Either of these will heighten the officer's level of security.
Okay, this part of the video is a bunch of crap. This cop, the narrator, says it's an unexpected movement to be reaching in your glove box. Ah, come on, give me a break. As soon as you get pulled over, any cop knows what you're going to do. You're going to look for your license, and you're going to start looking for your registration and insurance. But let me talk about that, and I've talked about this so much in previous episodes, and I talk about it on my Facebook page a lot. We don't want to be having to dig for our papers when we get pulled over. Number one, your driver's license. Men, have it in your wallet, in your pocket. Don't have your wallet in a bag in the back seat. Don't have it in the trunk. Ladies, if you got your driver's license in a purse, have it sitting there right next to you. Don't have it in the back seat. Don't have it in the trunk. Have it right there where you can get it. And before that cop even opens his door to get out and come walk up to your car, get your license out. Have it out, ready to go. In Oklahoma, all we have to show is our license and our insurance. Do not put your insurance verification in the glove box. Because if you're like most people, it gets buried under a whole bunch of paperwork, and it takes forever to find it. This is what I do, and this is what I recommend. You keep your little insurance verification out somewhere, and in my car I have a little cubby hole down by the center console where I can see it. It's there all the time, and I can keep my eye on my insurance verification all the time. It's right there. I don't have to dig for it. I don't have to open up the glove box and be digging through a bunch of papers. It's right there. So before that cop even gets out of his car, I have my license and I pick up my insurance verification. I have it right there in my hand, ready to go before he even gets out of his car. The other thing you should do also, have your phone handy and at least turn on your audio recorder. But it's fine to also turn on the camera as well. But don't sit there and hold the camera up, start doing that. Just set it down. Or I got a little thing in my car where I don't know what you call it. It's a little plastic thing that holds my camera, and I can put it right there, and the camera can shoot right towards the door. But whatever you do, at least turn the audio on or the camera and set it down, or have it setting up on the dash so it can record your interaction with the cop. That's actually the first thing you should do, is turn your camera on. Get that license in your hand, get that proof of insurance in your hand. In states where you need to show your registration as well, just get a paper clip and paper clip that registration, fold it up and paper clip it right to your insurance verification, and then have it sitting out where you can see it all the time, where you don't have to go digging for it. I've talked about this in previous episodes I've done, and these examples I'm getting ready to give, they are real cases I've had. Each one of them actually happen. Police comes up, license and proof of insurance. That guy opens his glove box to start looking for his proof of insurance. Oh, there's a big bag of weed right there in the glove box. Guy goes to open the glove box. Oh, there's a bottle of whiskey, half open bottle of whiskey, half drink bottle of whiskey, however you want to say it. Sitting right there. Opens up the glove box. Oh, a big bag of pills right there in the glove box. open up the glove box, there's a gun right there. And that really freaks them out when there's a gun. And those cops, when they're standing there, they're watching everything you do because they want to find something they can take you to jail for. That's all they're out there for, is to try to figure out a way to take you to jail and lock you in a cage. So we don't want to be digging through our glove box, looking for the proof of insurance. Have that stuff ready to go.
Driver, let me see your hands.
Your best course of action is to keep your hands on the steering wheel and visible at all times.
Can I see your license, registration, insurance, please?
Why you stop me though? You gotta say please.
You ran the stop sign at Fish
Cops are
Street
supposed to be nice to me.
and First Avenue.
It's never a good idea for the driver to begin their interaction by arguing with the police officer.
Now, one thing I do agree with this video on is do not argue. And I love the terrible acting in this video we're watching. But you don't argue your case. Dude, when the cop gets out there, just hand over your license and insurance. You know that's what they're going to ask for. Just give it to them. Your goal in this whole thing is to get this traffic stop over with and get down the road. As I said already, that cop, the more time that cop's standing there, he or she is looking in your glove box, looking in your back seat, looking to see what's on the floorboard, looking in your center console, looking for anything they can take you to jail for. So your goal is to get this stop over with and get on down the road. Give them your license and don't argue about why they pulled you over. If you want to argue about it in court. We'll go to court later on down the road. But sitting there at a traffic stop on the side of the road with some cops standing there is not the time to be arguing your case. And the other thing is, if they say, do you know why I pulled you over? The answer is no. Or you can say, I'm not answering any questions, I want to speak to an attorney, but we're really not at that point yet. Do you know why I pulled you over? No. Do you know what the speed limit is here? No. You do, and she says it here in a minute. Well, you acknowledge you're on that stop sign, don't you? No, I don't acknowledge anything. Don't ever acknowledge that you committed any traffic violation, because later on down the road, a day later, 2 days later, you may decide, well, I didn't really deserve that ticket. I want to go to court and fight it. Well, you're going to look pretty stupid, especially if it's on video, which more and more cops are getting videos in their cars these days. Oklahoma Highway Patrol, they all got video. You're going to look pretty stupid if you acknowledge that you violated the law right there on video. So we never admit to violating any traffic laws during this stop. And don't let them trick you into that. Well, you know how fast you're going. You know I pulled you over, don't you? No, I don't.
Let me see your driver's license.
Yeah, you did this last week, though.
Step out the vehicle for me.
The driver's actions always dictate the officer's response.
Step out the vehicle for me.
Your cooperation is essential to a safe encounter for all involved.
Hi, I'm Corporal Broussard with the Lake Charles Police Department.
Now, this is the one that always gets me about these police-made videos about how you, the citizen, are supposed to handle the traffic stops. They always say, cooperate. Well, and they don't exactly tell you what they mean. They just mean cooperate. So to the standard average person, that means we're going to give consent to a search, we're going to answer all their questions and tell our entire life history of drug usage, we're going to agree to wait around for the drug dog, we're going to agree to let them run around a drug dog around our car. Bull crap. We're not going to cooperate to that extent. If cooperate means give them your license and don't argue, fine. I say cooperate as far as that goes. But as far as waiving your rights, if that's what cooperate means, which to these clowns, that's what that means. We don't cooperate. We don't waive our rights. We don't consent to a search. If they ask to search your car, you tell them no. If that's considered being uncooperative, oh well, so what? If they start asking you questions, where are you coming from, where are you going to, you got anything in the car I need to know about, on and on. How much you had to drink tonight, tell them your entire life history of drug usage. We don't answer those questions. And if they want to consider that uncooperative, well, screw them, because that's your right to remain silent and have an attorney to assist you during police questioning. They start asking you those questions, you tell them, I got nothing to say, I need to talk to an attorney. We don't waive our rights and cooperate. And then the third thing is, they may ask you, well, do you mind waiting around while we wait for the drug dog to come? Or do you mind waiting around for asking you a few more questions? No, I don't agree to that. I want to go. Are you detaining me or am I free to go? And if they consider that uncooperative, well, screw them. Tough for them, because these are our sacred constitutional rights. We never cooperate with the police other than give them your license and don't argue. And as we saw here just a minute ago, unfortunately, the Supreme Court has said that if they order you to get out of the car, you got to get out of the car. And passengers got to get out of the car too. All right, fine, you got to get out, but you don't have to say anything, and you don't have to agree to a search. And then the thing you need to do, if they order you to get out, you pick up your phone so you can continue videotaping this interaction. To me, I can put it right here in my pocket, and the camera's right above my pocket, and it'll continue to record anything that's going on, and then my hands are free to sign paper or give my license over. So if they order you to get out of the car and you don't get out of the car, you're going to get charged with obstructing, and you'll probably get arrested for it. So, you know, I'm not telling you that should be the law. I don't think it should be law, but unfortunately, that is the law. So let's just review one more time. We cooperate as far as giving our license and insurance. In fact, we cooperate so much, we have that stuff ready to go before they even get out of their car. Number two, we cooperate by not arguing our case. In fact, just keep your mouth shut and answer questions with yes or no answers. We don't have to go into big, long speeches. I had this case once where, and the good cops, the ones that know what they're doing, they'll act all friendly and nice and act like they're just making conversation. Well, what they're doing, they're just slowing this traffic stop down because they've probably called. I've had so many cases where I've heard them on the radio as they're pulling the guy over. They're calling for the guy with the drug dog. Then they pull you back to their car, and then they start asking these questions. Well, if you say, I go to college, oh, you go to OSU, oh, well, what's the football team? And people just, if this quarterback is this, and our linebacker, and whatever, blah, 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 blah. When they start asking you questions like that, how's the football team? How's the weather? Good. What you want to do, you want to get this traffic stop over and get on down the road. Even if they seem nice, again, the good ones will seem nice and like we're just friendly making conversation. No, we don't engage in that. We answer questions with yes or no, or how's the football team? Well, good. We don't go into big long speeches because they're just trying to slow that traffic stop down. You want to get the traffic stop over with and get on down the road.
Can I see your license, registration, insurance, please?
Drivers should ensure that they have a current vehicle registration and vehicle insurance in an easy-to-find location, normally the glove box. They should also have a valid driver's license in an easily locatable area.
Now, as the video says here, you should have your license. The video says registration and proof of insurance. In Oklahoma, they're not going to ask you for your registration. If you're in a state where you need to show registration, keep that accessible. Again, not buried in the glove box. Now, the third thing, or I guess the fourth, it would be the third thing for Oklahoma. In Oklahoma, you want to have your driver's license, proof of insurance, but if you have a gun license and you have a gun in the car that's loaded, you're supposed to tell the police about that when they come up to the car. Now, I heard this from a police officer a long time ago, and I think it's good advice. Don't tell the officer, I got a gun in the car, or say anything about a gun. Don't say gun. Because he's standing outside the car, there may be a lot of traffic, a lot of road noise, and all he hears is the word gun, and that freaks him out. So, do what I do. I have my license, my driver's license, and I have my gun license, and my proof of insurance. I have that right in my hand when they come up to the car, and I hand it to him. And if he looks at that gun license and he says, do you have a gun in the car? Then I say, yes. I've just used the word yes. I haven't used the word gun. Which, as we already seen, they think this is so dangerous and they're so scared you might be a violent criminal. So, they were already coming into this scared and freaked out. So you don't want to have to use the word gun. So, if he says you got a gun, yes, just give him that license right off the bat. Now, if you're in a state where you don't know the law, then don't tell him anything about the gun. Or if you're in a state where you for sure know it's illegal to have a gun, don't tell him you have a gun in the car and don't give him your gun license at that point. If you're in Oklahoma and you're traveling in some state and you don't know what the law is, then don't say anything about a gun. This is when you keep your mouth shut. Only if you're in Oklahoma and you have a gun license and you have a gun in your car, do you have to tell them. So I would recommend following the law and doing that because you don't want any problems with your gun license.
Officers observe through their experience that drivers who have extreme difficulty locating these items may be stalling for some reason. This too will raise their level of awareness. It is generally recommended that the driver stay in the vehicle until instructed to exit by the officer.
You acknowledge you ran that stop sign?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
I don't know where this video came up with this stalling idea. Why would anybody want to stall and make this traffic stop continue on and on and on? Again, as I've said 100 times already, your goal is to get this traffic stop over with and get on down the road. The more time, I mean, they're suggesting you're purposely spending this time looking for your driver's license and proof of insurance to stall. Well, we all know that just gives them more time to look around your car, see what they can arrest you for, look in your center console, look what's in that glove box. We know why people have trouble finding their stuff is because they've got it buried in the glove box, or they've put their purse or something in the back seat and they're not sure where the license is. Again, folks, always be ready for a traffic stop. Always have your license close to you. I mean, just wherever it is, whether it's a lady's purse or a man's wallet, just don't have it stuck in the back seat or the trunk or in some bag you got way back in the back. Always have it handy. Always have your proof of insurance handy. You don't want to be going digging for that. And of course, here as we saw on the video, she asked, well, you acknowledge you ran the stop sign. No, I don't acknowledge that. I don't acknowledge to violate any law. Again, don't argue. You argue your case when you go to court, but just don't acknowledge it. Don't say, yes, I did violate the law. You never tell them you violated any law whatsoever.
It is officer's discretion as to whether to have the driver step out or to have them stay in the vehicle during the course of the traffic stop.
Step out the vehicle for me.
If the officer asks the driver to step out, the driver should comply, but always remember to keep their hands visible at all times.
Keep your hands out your pocket.
Simply keep your hands down by your sides and relax. Some individuals out of habit will repeatedly place their hands in their pockets. While this is understandable, the officer will again ask the driver to take their hands out of their pockets.
Keep your hands out your pocket or you can be placed in cuffs. You understand me?
If the driver continues this practice, the officer will become suspicious and may feel the need to investigate further.
You know, what really pisses me off about this video and other videos you see is this idea of they're going to tell you what to do with your body. They're going to tell you where to put your hands. They're going to tell you don't put your hands in your pockets. Who the hell are you to tell me or any other citizen what we can do with our hands during a simple traffic stop for some stupid traffic violation? Oh, it's so dangerous. Oh, screw. You know, and that's the thing about it. If you had a weapon in your pocket, you don't have to put your hands in your pockets for 30 seconds, a minute to pull it out. You just put your hand in there and pull it out. The idea that it's somehow dangerous to stand there with your hands in your pocket is just ridiculous. And I'm sick of these videos where that show that you're supposed to obey. We're going to tell you what to do with your body. Well, what about them? Maybe we need to wash their hands. I'm more scared of them than they need to be scared of any motorist that they're going to pull over, because we've seen videos over and over of them shooting and killing people, especially if they're black, for no reason at all. So maybe they need to show their hands instead of us. Now, with that said, if they did start ordering you to take your hands out of your pockets, or put your hands up or whatever, and you don't do it, you might get charged with obstructing. But I don't know. I've never had a traffic stop, and I get pulled over once or twice a year. It's always when I'm going out to my court appearances, and I'm always dressed nice. It's always during the daytime. I never had a cop show any fear or anything like that. Tell me to put my hands up or anything. Again, when he comes up to the car, I'm always ready to go. I got my driver's license there, my gun license, my proof of insurance. It's ready to go. So, and I don't get hostile. And I'm not belligerent. And I don't know if I said it earlier. I don't think I did. Don't be hostile. Don't be belligerent. You can say yes, no, things like that without being belligerent. You don't need to be hostile or belligerent. Just don't say anything. Just don't start the my entire life history of drug uses, blah, 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 blah. Just don't do that. You're not here with your new best friend to talk about the college football team and how they're doing this year. Your goal is to get this traffic stop over with and get on down the road.
What I need you to do is get me the insurance and registration. You understand that?
For some reason, I know that the cops always like to ask the old, do you understand me? Do you understand that, mister? And my suggestion is that no matter what the circumstance is, if they ask, you understand, you should either say no, or, which would even be better, I'm not answering any questions and I want to speak to an attorney. If they ever ask you, do you understand anything, just don't say yes, Because what they're trying to do, they're trying to demean you and degrade you and put them in position of master and put you in the position of their servant. Well, don't play their game. You understand me? No. What don't you understand about that, mister? I got nothing to say, and I want to talk to an attorney. Screw them and their sense of superiority.
When the officer makes the determination whether or not a citation will be written, they may or may not return to their vehicle.
I'm going to walk to my car, verify this information is valid, okay? Ensure that your driver's license is
The officer may
valid.
simply step behind the driver's vehicle and begin to write the citation. The officer may step behind their own vehicle to begin to write the citation.
Now in this video, we see the driver. He automatically assumes the position and puts his hands up like he's some criminal, for being pulled over for running a stop sign. He automatically puts his hands up on the trunk of the car. Well, never assume any. For one thing, just doing that makes you look guilty. It makes you look like It makes you look like that cop actually has something to worry about. Or the truth is, you're just another citizen standing there by the car. I would just stand there. Now, they tell you to put your hands on the car, and you don't do it, you might run into problems. But don't automatically assume any position for them that you think is going to, make them not so scared of you. Well, screw them if they're so scared. Again, if they're so scared out pulling people over every day, then get another job. That's all I got to say.
The driver may see the officer return to their vehicle and sit inside for a moment. This is generally done when the officer needs to garner further information on the driver and their driving record. If the determination is made that a citation will be written, the driver should expect the officer to return to the vehicle and ask for their signature. Drivers should keep in mind that their signature on the citation is not an admission of guilt.
Today you're going to get a citation for running a stop sign, okay? This is not an admission of guilt. It's just saying you received a copy of the citation and that you're going to take care of the citation either in court or before the court date.
It is simply their written promise that they will appear in court or take care of the citation prior to the court date.
Now, this is actually good advice from the video. Signing the citation is just a promise to appear, either to pay the citation or appear in court. And some of the citations, depending on what it's for, it's a mandatory court of appearance. But just signing, it's not an admission of guilt. I still hear people to this day that, I'm not going to sign that. And then they get in a big argument with the cop, and then sometimes they get arrested. Again, your goal is to get this traffic stop over with and get on down the road. Just sign it. Again, it's not an admission of guilt. It's simply a promise to appear in court or to pay the citation for the court date. So, this part of the video is good advice. I completely agree with it.
Upon completion of the interaction between the officer and the driver should expect that the officer will return all documentation. They will also receive a copy of the citation if one was written.
There's your driver's license back. Okay, you can go ahead and collect your items off the end of the car, enter your car, and drive safely.
The officer will generally tell the driver to drive safely, and then they will begin to return to their police vehicle.
Now, as always, when the traffic stop is over with, get in your car and get on down the road. If you're confused about the citation, what you need to do, who you need to call, how do you pay it, don't sit there and ask the cop. Get online and figure it out. If you can't figure it out, call an attorney, call me. If it's in my jurisdiction, if you're up in Maryland or something, don't call me and ask me how to pay your tickets in Maryland. But if it's in my jurisdiction, call me. Find an attorney in your jurisdiction. When that cop gives you all your belongings back, your license, your proof of insurance, and the citation or warning, get in your car and get on down the road. Now, sometimes at this point, the police will be the ones that try to extend the traffic stop. They'll give you all your stuff back, and you'll turn to walk away. Or if you're in their police car, you'll open the door, you'll put your feet out, and they'll go, "Oh, can I ask you just one more question?" And almost all my clients, "Well, sure, go ahead." And then he said, "Well, get back in the car, close the door." No, when they give you all your stuff back, and they say, "Can I ask you one more question?" "No, I'm leaving." And just keep on walking. If they order you to stop, then stop. Because then if they order you to stop, you're being detained. But if you get back in that car, or you say, "Yes, I want to answer one more question," the courts have said that interaction is voluntary. And then the police can do anything they want to you when when the encounter is voluntary. And the courts say that all you folks watching this, you know this. So that's why I do all these videos and post all this stuff on my Facebook. Because even though I know 99.9% of folks don't know this, the courts say you do. The courts say if a cop says, "Can I ask you one more question?" and you say yes, you know that's a voluntary encounter. That's what the courts say. So that's why these videos are very important, and all the stuff I try to teach people by posting on Facebook or going out and talking to folks out at events. That's why I do these things, because again, the courts say you know this stuff, which you actually don't. But anyway, back to the traffic stop. Never agree to wait around to answer one more question or to wait for a drug dog. Get in your car and go. And again, if they order you stop, well then stop, because at that point you're being detained. But never agree to wait around for any reason.
Drivers should not be alarmed if they notice the officer walking backwards towards their vehicle in a cautionary manner. This is for the driver's safety as well as the officer's safety. Generally, the officer will watch the vehicle enter traffic to ensure that it does so safely. Officers are aware that no one likes to receive a traffic citation, but citizens should be aware that it's part of the officer's job to write these citations in an attempt to lower crashes, injuries, and fatalities.
All right, folks, that's pretty much the end of the video. The narrator makes some closing comments, and then they show some closing credits, and I won't bore you with that. But let's just review one more time. Yes, we do cooperate with the police during a traffic stop, insofar as having our license and insurance ready to go. And in states where you got to have your registration, have that ready to go too. When that cop comes up there, you have it in your hand, ready to go. We cooperate by not arguing. We cooperate by not being belligerent and hostile. Other than that, we don't cooperate at all. And what they mean by cooperate, even though they don't say it, they just use the word cooperate. But what they want you to think is, well, we'll cooperate by doing anything and everything the officer asks. If the officer asks to search the car, we're going to say yes. If the officer asks us questions, including our entire life history of drug usage, we're going to tell them our entire life history of drug usage, as well as anything else incriminating. We'll tell them we committed the latest murder, if that's what they want to hear. Number 3, we never ever agree to wait around to answer one more question or wait for a drug dog or for any other reason. If the cops want to consider that uncooperative, well, that's tough. That's just tough for them, because these are our sacred constitutional rights. All right, folks, that's it. That is Know Your Rights, episode 12. And I know it's been a while since I made a video, and I apologize for that. I've been extremely busy lately, but I'll try to make these videos more often. I'd like to make a couple a month. I would like to make a couple a month, but I think it's been more than a month since I made one, so I apologize for that. But let's just remember, folks, let's remember, never, ever, ever do we waive our sacred constitutional rights during a police encounter. Always assert your rights when having a police encounter, even if the police think that is being uncooperative. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. So long.